The daily ritual that built mental giants. There's one habit the Stoics practiced every single day, quietly, religiously, without fail. They didn't tweet it, they didn't journal it for likes, but it kept them sane, through betrayal, through war, through nights they couldn't sleep. It was their anchor, their reset button, their mental armor. And now, modern neuroscience confirms it. This one habit literally rewires your brain for calm, clarity, and control. Most people ignore it, scroll past it, think it's too simple to matter, but the strong ones, the grounded ones, they live by it. Want to know what it is? Let's break it down. Why your brain feels overwhelmed, and how Stoics fixed it. Let's be real. Your mind isn't tired because you're doing too much. It's tired because you're processing too much. Too many inputs, too many reactions, too many thoughts you never pause to actually examine. Every notification, every little trigger, it's all getting stored, cluttering your mental space. And here's what nobody tells you. Your brain isn't built to hold that much noise. That's why you feel anxious for no reason. Why you overthink. Why small things set you off. The Stoics knew this centuries ago. They didn't have social media, but they had war, betrayal, sickness, pressure. And still, they found a way to stay calm, centered, and brutally clear. Their secret, a simple daily habit that filtered the chaos and recentered the mind. One practice, few minutes, massive impact. And in this video, you're going to learn exactly what that habit is. And 4 easy ways to apply it right now. No therapy, no apps, no retreats. Just one Stoic technique, proven by science, that trains your brain to stop reacting and start leading. 1. The habit, daily reflection, the Stoic reset button. If your phone lags, what do? You reset it, clear the memory, let the system breathe again. But when your mind lags, when it's overwhelmed, scattered, or spiraling, what do? Most people just keep pushing through. They scroll more, eat more, distract more. They hope it'll fix itself. But Marcus Aurelius didn't hope. He reflected. Every night, after ruling an empire, leading armies, facing betrayal, he didn't reward himself with escape. He picked up a pen and wrote to himself. What did I do today? Where did I fall short? What can I do better tomorrow? Simple, director, no fluff. He wasn't writing for anyone else. He wasn't performing. He was checking in with reality. And that's the habit that rewires your brain. Not some fancy hack, not a weekend retreat, but a daily reset ritual, 5 to 10 quiet minutes where you audit your mind, like a leader audits a battlefield. Because that's what your mind is, right? A battlefield. Thoughts firing from every direction, emotions rushing without permission, old stories, insecurities, noise. But when you pause at the end of the day and ask simply, where did I show up with strength? Where did I let emotions lead? What can I do 1% better tomorrow? You stop being a prisoner of your own mind. You start taking command. It's neuroscience too. When you review your day with honesty and structure, you shift from the reactive brain, amygdala, to the executive brain, prefrontal cortex. You literally train your mind to be calmer, clearer, more in control. Here's a quick story. One of my clients, a startup founder, used to wake up at 2 a.m. thinking about deals, pitches, investor calls, mind racing, body exhausted. We introduced a 10-minute evening reflection, just 3 questions. After 1 week, he stopped waking up in panic. Why? Because the mind had already processed the battlefield before bed. And that's the power of this habit. It's not about journaling to feel better. It's about debriefing your mental war zone, so tomorrow you don't repeat the same mistakes. So, if you've been feeling overloaded, edgy, or mentally cluttered, don't wait for a breakdown. Don't numb it out. Just start checking in with yourself daily. And if you don't know what to write, start with Marcus's words. Where did I act well? Where did I fail? What's left undone? Let that be your mirror. Let that be your reset. Because peace isn't something you find. It's something you build, one reflection at a time. Now that you've got the habit, let's break it down into specific techniques so you can actually make it stick. 2. Use writing to slow down your mind. You ever notice how your mind spins faster when you try to ignore it? One small worry turns into 5 imagined scenarios. One bad text turns into a 30-minute overthinking loop, and before you know it, you're not even reacting to reality anymore. You're reacting to the movie your brain created. Now, here's the part most people miss. Your brain doesn't want clarity. It wants speed. It wants reaction. It wants to finish the story, even if it has to invent the ending. That's where writing comes in. Not for the sake of journaling, not to sound deep, but because writing slows the mind down to the speed of truth. When you force your spiraling thoughts into a sentence, you start to see what's real and what's just noise. The Stoics knew this instinctively. Marcus Aurelius wasn't writing meditations for the world. He was writing to interrupt his own spirals, to question his judgments, to catch his mind before it ran too far. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That's not just philosophy. That's daily training. Here's how you can apply it. Tonight, before bed, instead of scrolling, sit with a notebook. Doesn't have to be deep, doesn't have to be pretty. Just write what's circling in your head. One thought, one line at a time. I'm angry because he ignored my message. I feel behind compared to others. I don't know if I'm doing enough. Get it out. Don't judge it. Because here's the truth. When the thought stays in your head, it feels like truth. But when it hits the page, you start to see it for what it is, a passing cloud. One client of mine called it emotional debugging. She'd write for 5 minutes, and half her anxiety would vanish. Why? Because once the story is exposed, it loses its power. But let's go deeper. Sometimes what you're writing isn't just fear. It's the echo of a voice that made you feel small a long time ago. And now your mind is still fighting a battle you don't even remember starting. That's why this habit isn't therapy. It's strategic confrontation. You're not writing to feel better. You're writing to lead your mind back to clarity. And the more you do it, the faster your brain learns to slow down, even in the heat of a spiral. So next time your thoughts start racing, don't try to stay positive. Don't argue with your mind. Grab a pen, pull the thought out of the fog and onto the page where it finally loses its grip. 3. Name the emotion. Don't fight it. Let me ask you something real. Have you ever gotten mad at yourself just for feeling something? You feel anxious, then frustrated that you're anxious. You feel sad, then ashamed because you should be stronger. You feel jealous, then embarrassed that you even let it show. And just like that, one emotion becomes 2, then 3, then 5. And suddenly your mind is drowning, not in emotion itself, but in the war against it. Here's what the Stoics knew, and what modern psychology now confirms. The more you resist emotion, the more power it gains. But when you name it, observe it, and give it space, it loses its grip. Marcus Aurelius never wrote, "I shouldn't feel this." He wrote things like, "Today I felt anger. I noticed pride in myself. Fear rose up in me, but I did not act from it. That's not weakness. That's emotional strength without the drama. And here's the neuroscience. When you label an emotion out loud or in writing, you activate your prefrontal cortex, the rational brain. This directly calms your amygdala, the part that triggers fight or flight. Translation: you stop reacting. You start responding. So the next time your heart's racing or your gut tightens, don't rush to fix it, don't bury it, don't shame it. Just pause, take a breath, and say simply, this is fear, this is disappointment, this is hurt speaking. And here's the twist. Sometimes what we label as anger is really abandonment. What looks like ambition is actually unhealed shame. And what feels like confidence might just be fear in a better outfit. Don't be afraid to see the truth beneath the emotion, because when you shine a light on the hidden layers, the monster gets smaller. One of my clients, a high performer in finance, used to panic before big meetings. He'd suppress the feeling, call it pressure, and try to power through. But it always leaked out as tension, impatience, defensiveness. Now, he steps aside for 30 seconds, breathes, and says, this is fear. It's allowed to be here, but it doesn't drive. And just like that, he's back in control. Calm, clear, collected. That's what Stoic emotional mastery looks like. Not suppression, not pretending, just choosing your position in relation to what you feel. You're not the emotion, you're the observer. And here's the truth. The observer holds the power. Because once you can name what you feel, you create space between the spark and the flame. And in that space, you get to decide who you become. Create a 5-minute daily check-in ritual. So now you've got the tools. You know how to reflect. You know how to write to slow the mind. You know how to name emotions before they own you. But if you stop there, it all stays random, occasional, reaction-based. And that's not how you rewire your brain. You don't build muscle by doing push-ups when you feel like it. You build it with consistency, ritual, a small, repeatable structure that tells your mind, this is who I am now. That's where the 5-minute daily check-in comes in. It's not therapy. It's not journaling for the sake of journaling. It's a simple ritual of mental leadership. Here's what it looks like. Every night, before bed or right after your workday ends, you sit down, no phone, no noise, just you and a blank page or notes app. And you answer 3 brutally honest questions. What triggered me today? Not what went wrong. What pulled you out of your center? How did I respond? Did you react? Did you pause? Did you lose yourself? What would the calm, focused version of me do next time? That's it. No overthinking, no overwriting. 5 minutes. But here's the thing. If you do this consistently, you train your brain to expect self-awareness. You start catching your patterns before they hijack your day. You develop mental reflexes, not just intentions. One client of mine started doing this right after work each evening. He said it felt like closing open tabs in his brain. After a few days, he slept deeper, made clearer decisions, and most importantly, stopped over-personalizing small setbacks. He stopped asking, why is this happening to me? And started asking, what's this teaching me? That's what this ritual builds. Not a perfect life, but a mentally upgraded operating system. The goal isn't to eliminate triggers, it's to observe them faster, recover from them smoother, and grow through them stronger. Because peace isn't the absence of pressure, it's the presence of preparation. So, if you want to make Stoic calm your default state, don't wait for chaos to hit. Train daily, reflect nightly, and give your mind what it's craving most: stillness, with structure. Now that we've broken down the habit, let's bring it all together. Time to close strong, with a powerful recap and a final move that locks this mindset in. Let's finish. You don't find peace. You train for it. Let's strip it all down. You don't find peace by escaping the world. You don't earn calm just because you're tired of chaos. And no, peace doesn't magically appear after 10 minutes of meditation or a quiet playlist. Peace is trained, peace is built, peace is chosen, like a discipline. And the Stoics knew this long before we had neuroscience to back it up. They didn't wait for life to be gentle. They trained their minds to stay sharp in storms and still in fire. How? By practicing one simple habit, daily reflection, but not the soft kind, not the "how do I feel today" kind. The Stoic kind. The kind where you confront your reactions, audit your triggers, write not to feel better, but to get clear. Where you name your fear, your envy, your pride, without flinching. Where you look at yourself the way a commander looks at his troops, brutally honest, non-emotional, strategic. And when you do that, even for 5 minutes a day, your inner wiring starts to change. Your emotional reflexes sharpen, your self-respect climbs, and people around you, they sense it, not because you're louder, not because you glow up, but because your presence shifts. You stop leaking emotion, you stop chasing calm, you carry it. That's Stoic energy. And if you want it to become who you are, you don't need a new app. You don't need a 30-day challenge. You need a ritual, 5 minutes, once a day, every day. Let that be the line. Let that be the standard. Let that be the habit that separates who you've been from who you're about to become. Ready for the next level? If you want to learn how Stoics stayed emotionally unshakable, even in betrayal, loss, and chaos, watch this next. 5 Stoic techniques to control your emotions instantly. Because this isn't just about surviving emotion, it's about becoming the one person no emotion can break.